Hi guys, my name's Darren. Today I'm going to show you how to tune your kite bar. So you might ask why we tune our bar. Lots of times people purchase bars used or you've been sessioning on your kite for about a season and your center lines tend to stretch. Actually all of your kite lines tend to stretch. And you always want to have 4 even lines going up to your kite. So what we're going to do now is check to make sure all of our lines are even, and if they're not, we're going to show you how to fix it so that they are. What you're going to need today is your bar that you're going to be tuning, the carabiner from your leash to attach your bar to, and if you have it, some extra leader line to wrap around your post, your trailer hitch, or whatever your fixed point is. So the first step is going to be we're going to lay our line out outside, just like we're going to attach it to a kite, and then after that we'll talk about step 2. So what I'm going to do right now is go out onto our porch here at Best. It's a rainy day. I'm going to lay my lines out because I got nothing better to do. Start tuning my bar. Alright guys, as you can see I have my bar laid out here on the porch. Now I'm going to walk all the way to the end where my pigtails are. I'm going to attach them one by one to a fixed point on the railing at the end there. Alright, so now I've walked to the end of my lines where my pigtails are. I've got our leader line and I've got the carabiner from our leash. I've wrapped the leader line around the fixed point and I've clipped the leader line off to the carabiner on our leash. Well, now we're going to use the same carabiner to fasten our pigtails. We're going to start with our outside line, then we're going to go to the next center line, then we're going to go to the next center line, and then we're going to go to the outside line. First up, outside line, then our other center line, then our other center line, then our outside line. If you're using a different kind of bar other than a Best bar, your center lines might not have loops. They might only have a ball there. If that's the case, more than likely, there's going to be a loop down here right at the end of each one of your pigtails. So you're going to use that as your attachment point for all 4. You want to make sure you use the same attachment point for all of your pigtails. Alright, so now that I've attached my pigtails to a fixed point, I'm going to come back to my bar. I'm going to pick it up and put some tension in the lines to start to check and see what kind of tune we got. First thing I'm going to want to do before I do any of that is make sure I don't have any D-power taken out of my kite. Otherwise it's going to look like my center lines are shorter than they should be. If you do have some D-power in your kite, it's a strap system like we use. You're going to want to grab the gray strap and put some tension above the whole system and pull that strap. As you pull above the strap, that's going to allow you to fully power up your kite and get rid of all that D-power. Now we're going to pick up our bar, pull our bar all the way back to our chicken loop, and look down our lines to see what kind of tension we have in each one of them. As you can see here, our center lines are drooping slightly below our outside lines. This is pretty common with most kites that have been flown for a while, because your center lines are where most of the load is, and consequently, they tend to stretch more. The easy way to fix this is to grab each one of your outside lines individually. In this case, we have the OSR handle, which makes it really easy. And we're going to lean back into each line with all our body weight for a few seconds. Grab the other side, repeat the process, and this is going to stretch our outside lines. Now to check it, we're going to go back to center and see what we got. Looks like our blue line stretch a little more than our red line. So we're just going to grab our red line, stretch it again. So now let's talk about the different kinds of situations you can have with your lines. The first one, the most common one, is when your center lines are longer than your outside lines. In this situation, you're going to notice that your center lines are going to droop well below your outside lines. To fix this, we basically are going to stretch each of our outside lines. The other situation is where one of your steering lines is shorter than the other. This happens when you throw tricks one way more than the other, you tend to pull on that hand a little bit more, put more load on one side of the kite, that line will stretch a little bit more than the other. To fix this, we're basically just going to stretch the other steering line until it's the same length. Here's an example of one of your steering lines being stretched.